Hey everyone, it's Sean Dittmer with Cam and Sean's real estate team, and today's video is about buyers' way to back out of the deal if the house isn't just for them or something comes up. So a lot of people get really nervous about the purchasing of their first home or just the whole process in general. And there's a lot of things that are in place for the buyer's protection. Especially in California, there's more, I would say there's more ways out of the deal, way more ways out of the deal on the buyer side than there is on the seller side. So anyway, just to go in it really quickly, a buyer has three major contingencies, and it is the inspection, the appraisal, and the loan contingencies. Those three things are in effect, and what a contingency is a way for a buyer to back out of the deal and get their earnest money deposit back. So the first one being inspection. That is the biggest one. That is the most common reason why buyers back out of a deal. So they go to a house, they love it, everything looks great. They're like, yes, this is the house, I want to buy it. We get into a contract between the buyer and the seller, and then the inspection period starts. And we hire a professional home inspector to look at the home. They say, oh, okay, by the way, the plumbing is on its last limb, the HVAC, it doesn't work, and the roof is torn up, and all of these things can happen. The buyer then can go and say, hey, you know what, Mr. or Mrs. Seller, I love your house, but it's falling apart, and I would like these to be fixed before I buy it, or a credit for this amount of work that needs to be done, or anything. You can negotiate anything in real estate, which is really cool. And if we cannot come to an agreement, you can then just give them a cancellation of contract, and that is you backing out of the deal because you did it in your inspection period, which is typically 17 days in length. So you have 17 days to do all your inspections and investigations on the property, and you can back out. Next one is appraisal. So say, for instance, you have a contract with the buyer to buy this house for $500,000 and it only appraises for $450,000. You can then go to the seller and say, hey, I was willing to pay $500,000 for it. However, it's not worth that much, and the bank won't loan me enough money to buy it because it's only worth $450,000. Will you take that instead? And they can say, yes, I'll take that, or no, I'm not going to, and then you can back out of the deal because the house did not appraise. And then there's all other kinds of nuances in that little scenario that I stated, but I'm just giving you a brief overview of it. And the final one is the loan contingency, which the loan contingency, for instance, something happens, you lose your job, or something happens where the loan just falls apart towards the end of the contract. You do still have a time period that you can back out due to the loan not going through. So on the buyer side of things, it's not very risky process when you're in your investigation period and getting the appraisal and getting your loan all squared away. The issue that you run into is there is a certain time period that you have to do all of this stuff, and that is typically 17 days, and it starts the day when after the contract has been fully executed. Everybody has signed and agreed upon it. That's when it starts, 17 days. So say you go through this time period and you remove your contingencies. That is the point of the transaction when your earnest money deposit is at risk, because you removed all your contingencies, all your ways out of the deal, and then something happens and you want to back out. That's when you can really lose your money. So if you just stick with your realtor and watch those timelines and just push forward through the whole transaction, it's really not complicated. It's not really that risky either. So I hope that overview of how escrow works, and when you're buying a house, if you're locked into that one no matter what, I hope that all understands and makes sense. If you have any question though, please feel free to reach out to me and either message me, text me, whatever, and I'll be glad to answer it. I hope everybody has an amazing day. Talk to you soon.